All right, we'll finish this GD short story if it kills me. So we'll do the rest of this on foot. In a few months, there's a for sale sign on the inside window of the service station. Ed Eggy gets drunk and driving at speed hits two steers on the county road. Leland joins the army, puts in for the motor pool. He's stationed in Germany for 6 years and never learns a word of the language. Comes back to Wyoming heavier, moodier. He works with a snow fence crew during spring and summer, then moves Lori and the children, the boy and a new baby girl, to Casper, where he drives oil trucks. They live in a house trailer on Poison Spider Road, jammed between two rioting neighbors. On the news, they hear that an enormous diamond has been discovered somewhere. The second girl is born. Leland can't seem to get along with the oil company dispatcher. After a year, they move back to Unique. Leland and his mother make up their differences. Lori's good at saving money, and she has put aside a small nest egg. They set up in business for themselves. Leland believes people will be glad to trade at a local ranch supply store that saves a long drive into town. He rents the service station from Mrs. Eggy, who has not been able to sell it after Ed's death. They spruce it up, Leland doing all the carpenter work, Lori painting the interior and exterior. On the side, Leland raises hogs with his father. His father was born and raised in Iowa and knows hogs. It becomes clear that people relish the drive to a bigger town where they can see something different, buy fancy groceries, clothing, baked goods, as well as ranch supplies. One intensely cold winter when everything freezes from God to gizzard, Leland and his father lose 112 hogs. They sell out. 18 months later, the ranch supply business goes under. The new color television set goes back to the store. After the bankruptcy proceedings, Leland finds work on a road construction crew. He's always out of town, it seems, but back often enough for what he calls a good ride. And so makes Lori pregnant again. Before the baby's born, he quits the road crew. Can't seem to get along with the foreman. No one can, and the turnover is high. On his truck radio, he hears that hundreds of religious cult members have committed suicide by swallowing Kool-Aid and cyanide. Leland takes a job at Tongue River Meat Processing Locker. Old man Proulx owns the business. He has an aptitude for sizing up and cutting large animals. Leland is the only employee. He likes wrapping the tidy packages, the smell of damp bone and chill. He can throw his cleaver unerringly, and when mice run along the wall, they do not run far if Leland is there. After months of discussion with old man Proulx, Leland and Lori sign a 10-year lease on the meat locker operation. Their oldest boy graduates from high school, first in the family to do so, and joins the Army. He signs up for 6 years. There's something on the news about school lunches, and ketchup is classed as a vegetable. Old man Proulx moves to Albuquerque. The economy takes a dive. The news is full of talk about recession and unemployment. Thrifty owners of small ranches go back to doing their own butchering, cutting, and freezing. The meat locker lease payments are high, and electricity jumps up. Leland and Lori have to give up the business. Old man Brose returns from Albuquerque. There are bad feelings. It didn't work out, Leland says, and that's the truth of it. Seems like a good time to try another place. The family moves to Thermopolis, where Leland finds a temporary job at a local meat locker. During the hunting season, a hunter from Des Moines, not far from where Leland's father was born, tips him $100 when he loads packages of frozen elk and the elk's head onto the man's single-engine plane. The man has been drinking. The plane goes down in the Medicine Bow Range to the southeast. During this long winter, Leland is out of work and stays home with the baby. Lori works in the school cafeteria. The baby is a real crier, and Leland quiets him down with a spoonful of beer. In the spring, they move back to Unique, and Leland tries truck driving again, this time in long-distance rigs. Coast-to-coast journeys that take him away 2 and 3 months at a time. He travels all over the continent to Texas, Alaska, Montreal, and Corpus Christi. He says every place is the same. Lori works now at the High-Low Cafe in Unique. The ownership of the cafe changes 3 times in 2 years. West Clinker, an elderly rancher, eats 3 meals a day at the High-Low. He is sweet on Lori. He reads her an article from the newspaper. A strange hole has appeared in the ozone layer. He confuses ozone with oxygen. One night while Leland is somewhere on the East Coast, the baby goes into convulsions. Following a week's illness of fever and cough, Lori makes a frightening drive over icy roads to the distant hospital. The baby survives, but he is slow. Lori starts a medical emergency group in Unique. 3 women and 2 men sign up to take the first aid course. They drive 100 miles to the first aid classes. Only 2 of them pass the test on the first try, and Lori is one of the 2. The other is Stuttering Bob, an old bachelor. One of the failed students says Stuttering Bob has nothing to do but study the first aid manual, and he enjoys the leisured life that comes with a Social Security disability check. Leland quits driving trucks and again tries raising hogs with his father on the old ranch. He becomes a volunteer fireman and is at the bad February fire that kills 2 children. It takes the fire truck 3 hours to get into the ranch through the wind-drifted snow. The family is related to Lori when something inside explodes, Leland tells. An object flies out of the house and strikes the fire engine hood. It is a Nintendo player and not even charred. Stuttering Bob has cousins in Muncie, Indiana. One of the cousins works at the Muncie Medical Center. The cousin arranges for the medical center to donate an old ambulance to the Unique Rescue Squad, although they had intended to give it to a group in Mississippi. Bob's cousin, who had been to Unique, persuades them. Bob is afraid to drive through congested cities, so Leland and Lori take a series of buses to Muncie to pick up the vehicle. It is their first vacation. They take the youngest boy with them. On the return trip, Lori leaves her purse on a chair in a restaurant. They go back to the restaurant. The gas money for the return trip was in the purse. They're wild with anxiety. The purse has been turned in and nothing is missing. Lori and Leland talk about the goodness of people, even strangers. In their absence, Stuttering Bob is elected president of the rescue squad. It's too dark to read in here. Husband and wife from California move to Unique, and they open a taxidermy business. They say that they are artists and arrange the animals in unusual poses. Lori gets work cleaning their workshop. The locals make jokes